is that in order for us to be great men, that we have to learn how to cater to the older brethren, which we would say in the streets, the OGs. One of the things that's mostly overlooked a lot of the times is serving. You know, I learned it at a young age from my dad. It really didn't start to manifest or come to fruition, as they say, till I got older. When I got in my late 20s, early 30s, it started making sense. I started doing things more for gentlemen that was older than me, kind of more like looking out for them. And that's some of the things that we as young men have to understand, is that in order for us to be great men, that we have to learn how to cater to the older brethren, which we would say in the streets, the OGs. You know, a lot of my OGs that I hang out with, and I tell them this all the time, is that, you know, your money is no good around me. A lot of times we get it misconstrued where, because we with the OG, we thinking that they should be buying us drinks or buying stuff for us because they older than us. That's the mentality that got society all screwed up. That sometimes when I'm with the OGs, it's necessarily not about the money, but I make sure that they okay. I might buy the first rounds of drinks because that's usually when I socialize with them. It's usually when we out to eat or whatever. But on a regular weekend, regular day, whatever it may be, I always make sure they okay. Even if I'm going to buy them a cigar for the day, might go buy them a cigar, have a drink with them just to catch up. May go buy them a drink as well. But that was the thing that my father taught me most, because I even watched him do it. And I think that was the greatest lesson, is watching him cater to the older gentlemen when I was a kid. You know, and he rarely ever called the older gentlemen by their first name. He always referenced them as Mr. Even though to me, it was my dad, but he still referenced all the older men as Mr. Anybody that was older than him, it was called Mr. And I watched him and my uncle's relationship grow as well. He was the baby, my uncle was the oldest. And my uncle was named Uncle Buddy. Uncle Buddy was his man, you know, and I watched them in their relationship, how he was very protective of my uncle. But there's several times when I remember when we would go visit my uncle, that we would have these men conversations. And I was only probably 12, I think, 9 or somewhere around there. And but they used to tell me, you know, you the third generation, you know, you the second generation or the third generation. But what we would do was we would go downstairs into my uncle's basement, and we would sit in this room. And at the time, I never knew what was going on until I got older and it started making sense. But my father would sit down with my uncle, and my uncle would be giving my father game. You know, this is what you should be doing, man. I remember him correcting him sometimes. Like, you know, you shouldn't have done this, you shouldn't have done that. You know, you got to think about this, you know, think about that. And those conversations at the time didn't make sense to me. But the fact that my father was able to bring me in on that conversation, I think he didn't know what he was doing, but it was allowing me to see that he has to take correction as well. And he took it with responsibility versus getting defensive. So I've always learned to have older brethren in my midst, or in my company, or in my, as they say, fellowship, and just to sit back and just let them talk, and I listen to see where can I take advice at, what applies to me, and how do I apply it to my life so that I don't have to make that same mistake. So serving is very big, even in the business of in retail or whatever business that you may own. Learning how to serve the customer is big. That's probably one of the fundamental things that people overlook, but you definitely have to learn how to do it, even in your own personal life. A lot of the young brethren today, this is something that we teach, is learning how to serve, get out of yourself. A lot of that comes from a lot of the young cats or young brethren grew up without a dad. And so, of course, they're running mothers all the time. And so a lot of them don't get a chance to learn that principle because it's really learned from a man. There's some, women that can share that with them, but the effect of it comes from a man, about, looking after the older brethren and getting out of yourself, the selfishness part about it. A lot of times that comes from a single mother raising because of the mother nurtures. The mother can't bear to see their boy have to learn his manly mistakes and the consequences of his manly mistakes. And so a lot of mothers try to defend or get in the way or in between the son's responsibilities or his path of being a man so that he doesn't have to face these type of things. And a lot of times what that breeds a grown man who won't take care of his kids. He doesn't know how to take care of his wife or be supportive, whatever that situation may be. But that's what that breeds. This is the same man that a lot of sisters date and come to find out that these guys aren't good providers. They aren't, or they're not good fathers. Don't step up. Don't do things, don't do things like, go the extra mile for the kids or whatever, or expect, the child to come to them when it's really supposed to be the father situation, to go see the kid, meaning if it's a divorce situation, whatever. A lot of time the mothers think the father's supposed to do it and vice versa, whatever the whole problem is. But when there's, even when it's just a mother and a son, I can look back and remember my father telling me, to make sure your mother don't have to go without. And whatever that meant is what it was. Do your best to make sure that she doesn't have to go without. And that was what stuck most in my head, is that and not giving her a hard time. I have to step up and be the man of the house now. Those are the last words he said to me before him and my mother split up, was those two things. Make sure your mom don't have to go without, and you got to be the man to step up now because you're the man of the house now. So, and I took that to heart, and it always stuck with me. But yeah, so serving is definitely a big factor in the young man's life, is learning how to serve the older brethren. And that is a skill, because a lot of times we may not agree with what the brethren is saying, but that doesn't give us a right to disrespect them. And that's any elder. That doesn't give us the right to disrespect them at all. I don't care who it is, how bad they may treat us, but at the end of the day, as a young one, we have to be the one to be able to take that and then move on. But just at that moment, as I said that, I can hear somebody saying or disagreeing with that or getting defensive behind that statement. And just the fact that they got defensive behind that statement is the type of person that I'm talking about. Because whatever the situation that took place, you still have to be in control of the situation. Okay, yeah, the OG or the, may not agree with something that I did or whatever, but it's not going to disrespect him. And I find that a lot when it comes to women. Women do not know how, I should say all women, don't say all women, but a lot of women struggle with that because they don't know how to have reference for the older women. And I see it all the time, especially through the women that are more educated, and you may get a mother who may not be educated, but she has a lot of earthly wisdom. And I can see it a lot where the educated women struggles with the earthly or the wisdom from the elder woman, because their education, their independence gets in the way of the wisdom of life. A lot of those wisdom points and those wisdom ideals that come from the older women, if a lot of the younger women would take heed to it, you probably would have a better relationship with your husband, boyfriend, or it may even be able to let you see how to deal with a man better. Not necessarily saying that, you got to get ran over, but you have a better understanding. And that can increase the longevity of that relationship. And so that's the things that we got to remember. I see it a lot with the women, that they don't even cater to the older women. To this day, I haven't seen it. I don't see it in the mass. I don't see it with the young brothers. Me and my man Kirtland Johnson, call him Squirrel, we've always been ingrained with that in our head. We do things just for the older gentlemen. He throws a dinner, an annual dinner, just for the older gentlemen. So where we go and we cater to them, we serve them. We cook their food, serve it to them. All they got to do is come, eat, and drink. And we're getting ready to do one. It's called an OG Smoke. Same thing. It's all about the older brother. And we're going to cater to them as well. We're going to cater to them, but we're going to do it with the leaf, a cigar. So just remember that serving is critical. Enjoy your day.